Yes, I would only like to know that whether you all can hear me. Am I audible with this? Good morning, all of you. Am I audible? You just tell me. I might not be on the screen right now, but I just want to know whether I am audible. Yes or no? Yes. Thank you, Tanvi. Yes. Others, Daibat, and others. Yes, 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 yes. Thank you so much. Just give me a few seconds and I'll be right back. Good morning, Dhruv. Good morning, Penal. It's very good morning to all of you. Right, I think now, without wasting much time, we'll start the session. The people will then. Good morning, Steve. Oh, good morning, Bonnie. Yes. So, yeah. Let me take my place. Right. So, today we all have gathered here for discussing about how to prepare or how to go about for these what you call as competitive examinations. So someone is preparing for their postgraduate entrance examination, while someone is preparing for their what you call as your net and set kind of examinations. The basic pattern it actually remains the same. So you all are here with me, Professor Girish Kukreja. As you all know me, we all are together since so many days, and we are all trying to crack these various what we call as examinations. Today, I will be not talking about microbiology. I will be not talking much about life sciences. I will not talk about enzymes, about bioenergetics or metabolism or molecular biology or DNA in that case, right? Today we will talk about what are the general strategies which we should adopt while we are what we call as preparing for our entrance examinations. So when we are preparing for these examinations, there are some things which probably we sometimes misinterpret. Like for example, one of the basic misconception which I'll say probably in this pandemic, we all have realized that solving an MCQ probably is much easier than giving a examinations which is having essay type of questions. I'll tell you one of the most what you call as wrong notion which you have is this, right? Giving an MCQ examination is easy. Trust me, it is not like that. Yes, it can be easy if you are properly prepared for it. Then probably any kind of examination will not matter much to you all. So let us be aware for the first time, like this particular pattern of MCQ. See, all kinds of examinations, all kinds of recruitments, whatever they are, what you call as being conducted, they all are being conducted based on this MCQ based pattern. So let me understand first that this is not going to be easy at the first sight, right? But let me first clear that notion that this is not that easy. I'll just go and I'll just give an exam and I'll just pass. If this would have been the case, probably we would have had all the people who have qualified these qualifying examinations. But as you can see, this is not the case, right? So first, let me understand that though it seems ki yes, the point value for each question is less because there are more number of questions. Like for a 10 marks essay question, I will ask like describe the pathway of beta oxidation and comment on the bioenergetics or energetics involved in it. I can talk about fatty acid synthesis. I can tell you about the mode of operation of lacoperon. And if at all you don't know, you think कि मेरे तो 10 मार्क्स चले गए, मतलब मुझे अगर एक क्वेश्चन है तो I lose 10 marks. So this is what is there in my mind for an essay kind of a question. For a multiple choice of question, yes, if I am not able to answer 2, I have 8 others to yet answer to get what you call as gap of those 10 marks or 8 marks to be filled. So this is what I generally feel. But then also remember that a particular examiner or a particular what you call as person who is actually framing the questions has more what you call as wide scope for asking you questions, because the number of questions they are more. So he can like go more in detail, he can go more in depth. But what I can say is ki it's like if I tell you ki you go and buy some vegetables out there, it is easy comparatively. If I tell you go and buy a chocolate out there, probably it is easy. But then if I give you all those conditions, that the vegetables, say for example if you are going for the tomatoes, if I give you a set of instructions, they should not be very red, they should not be very green, they should not be very hard, they should not be very small, soft, they should not be what you call as much big, they should not be very small, they should not be very ripe, and they should not be very unripe. So when I have all these set of conditions, like going and buying a chocolate is one thing. But if I tell you that yes, but the chocolate should not be very costly and it should not be very cheap also. The chocolate it should not be what you call as should not have nuts, but it should not be blank also. So like when I have all these sort of conditions given to me, then it becomes very difficult. This is what actually happens to my MCQ based examinations. The questions, they are to the point, and either I am right or I am wrong. There is no midway. Like for example, if you are supposed to draw a digestive system and you draw stomach a little bit bigger and you draw liver a bit smaller, probably the examiner will think, chalo, at least he knows that there is a stomach and there is a liver, and he or she may give you 1 or 2 marks out of 5 there. But then here, if you are right, only then you get a 1 mark. And if you are wrong, probably if you are giving examinations like NET and all, you will also lose marks. Not only those marks, but there is a negative marking. So this is what generally happens. Whenever you go to give a particular examination, whenever you go to face a particular examination, I always say, okay, how much are you prepared for that? That is the question. How much do I really know about that examination? So today we will be discussing some general preparation which you people should do, rather we used to do when we qualified. Like when I qualified my second back in 2006, when it was both objective as well as subjective. My NET for CSI GRF, and back in 2007 again, which was both objective as well as subjective. Things have like now underwent changes. Now you have come from offline to online. That time we had 2 different papers. Like we used to give 1 paper, then we used to have a break, and then we used to again come back and give the next paper. Then the results also were like we used to get the results of first paper first, and if you qualify that only, then your second paper was assessed. But now it is not like that. We never came to know our scores. I remember I only came to know that yes, I am qualified. That is what things were. So things have evolved, things have changed. But remember, the strategies for learning them, the strategies for qualifying them, they are basically the same. So let us what we call as go one by one. Like when I am preparing for any damn competitive examination, any which is a multiple choice based examination, what strategies I should use to crack these particular examinations, right? Since I am using a very primitive kind of concept, I'll just go again front screen, and I would like to know that whether you can hear me and whether you can see me. Can you please comment? Can you all please tell me whether you all can hear me and see me both, so that I can continue the session in this way? Yes, please, someone there. Whether you all can hear me and see me both. Thank you so much, Bonnie. Yes. So basically, talking about these particular examinations, as I told, first thing you should do is what you call as research about it. Do I really know? I have seen many people. See, most of the things probably you already might be doing, but let us just take it as a revision of do I really go about for these in this particular way. So first I would say that do I really have researched about this? I have seen many people, they give the examinations, they are in their last year or they are in their first year of post-graduation, sometimes in the last year of post-graduation, and sometimes even, but that is most ridiculous ridiculous part that even after completing the post-graduation and when facing these examinations, you just go and ask them, what is the pattern? Like, how many questions are there in paper 1? How many questions are there in paper 2? What is the, actually a broad outline of the syllabus? At least you know that. I tell you, this is my analysis, like personal. 42.65% of the people, they don't know what the syllabus is. They don't know how the pattern is. They don't know how many questions they are going to attempt. They don't know whether there is a negative marking or not, and they don't know that how many marks each question carries. But this is the most ridiculous part. Even if you, all people who are preparing for different entrances or preparing for NET and Z, today one thing what you can do is that you go home or go back, you're already at home. you go back and don't go now, but then you can go back and you can check. Do you really know the total number of questions kitne rehne wale? How many questions are going to be actually there? And out of that, do I have options? Are there what you call as provisions of negative marking? Right? Whether the exam is going to be online or whether the exam is going to be offline, am I well versed with both of these methods? So this is first basic question, a basic thing about your exam which you are giving, number 1. Number 2 is the syllabi. Look at the syllabi. If you are especially planning to crack your NET or SET in life sciences especially, you will find that if you are a botanist, you will find a lot of microbiology, biotechnology, some sophisticated techniques. Obviously, botany it is your own subject, so you will find that also. If you are zoology, then you will find botany. If you are like microbiology, you see a lot of botany and zoology, and then you get like messed up. And then you start telling yourself कि अरे मुझे botany भी पढ़ना पड़ेगा, अरे मुझे zoology भी पढ़ना पड़ेगा, अरे मुझे ecology भी पढ़ना पड़ेगा. There are some things which are common. Come on, you also know it, I also know it. Like biochemistry, everywhere it would be taught. Immunology, and to some extent in most of the branches of these life sciences it would be taught, right? Basic molecular biology, this is going to be taught. Basic what you call as instrumentation techniques and separation techniques, these are going to be there. Basic ecology, basic environmental science is going to be there everywhere. First basic thing, like when you go through the syllabus, try to find out those what you call as points of the syllabus which were in your graduation and post-graduation and which were not there. So आपने कभी syllabus download करके one by one वो syllabus देखा क्या? This is the second question. First, I talked about the exam. Have you really worked on the exam? Second, I talked about the syllabi. Have you really gone through the syllabus one by one? Like this is there, this is there, this is there, this is there, this is there. How many of you really know that how much of enzymology is there, how much of bioenergetics is there, how much of metabolism is there, how much of core botany is there, how much of taxonomy is there, how much of evolution is there? So have I really what you call as gone through these things? This is second important thing which I would like to suggest, that please go home. Now go home again and again. I am telling you, are at home only. Please go back and check that whether you have gone through the syllabi as such. And if not, please go ahead and do that today. These two things, so you can just do it and finish it off in half an hour or 1 hour or so like this, right? So this is one thing. Like this is what is I will say is the preliminary preparation for giving any kind of examination. Any. I have seen many people, they give so many different kinds of examination. I just ask them to be a syllabus. पता नहीं सगळं असतं in Marathi we say सगळं असतं, that means everything is there. So everything is there, but then have they jotted down what points are there? So please go and check that, and you will come to know the what you call as scope of that particular syllabi. Now coming back to your actual examination, when you are what you call as solving these particular questions. When you are solving these questions, most of the times you will find when you are giving an MCQ examination, you feel like on the back of the mind that you have read it somewhere, but then you don't actually come to the right answer, probably most of the times, right? So that when you get getting that you have read it somewhere, is really telling you that you read it but you never reread it. So what I would suggest in case of people those who are especially preparing for life sciences in any field, they should keep on continuously reading. There is something which we call as test anxiety. There is something that we can talk on that in an entire lecture for that. Today's the scope of the lecture is not that, but then over learning, what you say, even if you know it now, you read it again. You have read Black Operon 10 times, read it again. You have learned about Darwin's theory 10 times, read it again. Right? When you overlearn it, see, when you are just passing by or crossing by a particular road and you are going every day from there, and if there are certain banners stuck up here and there, and they are also there, right there, you never thought of learning them, but now they are in your mind, and while you go, and if one day that banner is not there, you immediately notice it that is not there. You remember exactly what words were written on that, because when you were passing by, you were just reading it. Only when you did it 10 times, your brain, it remembered it. So, अपने दिमाग पे थोड़ा भरोसा रखो, मतलब your brain ना, it remembers. So, you read. This is what you call this thing. I'll tell you कि आप जब भी prepare कर रहे हैं ना, आप read करो, 10 बार read करो, 20 बार read करो, क्या होने वाला है? कौन सा आप ज़्यादा काम करें? Anyways, if you are working somewhere, you are reading for yourself, you are not reading for others. So, read it. When you read it many times, मतलब somewhere in the back of the mind, मतलब probably when you see the question, you get that intuition, what you say, of the right answer. And when you get that very strong intuition of the right answer, go with that. Because most of the times what happens is, you also must have experienced that once you are out of the examination hall and you, like your intuition was telling you it was A, but like later on you thought that it would not be that easy and you went for B, and then you came out and you then told your friends, "Arey, mujhe to lag hi raha tha, it was A. I really thought it was A, and how mad I was to go with option B." So this is what generally happens. So I'm not saying that go everything with your intuition. I'm not talking about if you have to solve 100 questions, go with intuition for 100 questions. I'm talking about only those questions where you are not very sure but your intuition is very strong. You please trust your intuitions only when you have studied. Because sometimes when you don't study, still you have very strong intuition. Some people have very strong intuitions without studying anything. They never read about DNA, but then they have something intuitions about, मुझे लग ही रहा था it was A, मुझे लग ही रहा था it was B. I'm not talking about that. I'm talking about the intuitions which you get only when you have thoroughly studied that question. But at this moment, at this juncture of the point, you are not able to exactly recollect it in the exact way you had read it or the exact way it has appeared in your examination. So that may not be right or that may not be matching exactly, but your strong intuition says that this answer would be right. Yes, you can go for it, but yes, I would also suggest that if you are not very sure, sometimes the questions are tricky, right, which generally happens most of the times. So that time you have to be very careful to read the other options. About reading the other options now, once the paper is in front of you, I always say that you read a question, then we read the option. This is what we generally do. And then we find out like if it is A, if it is B, if it is C, if it is D. Many people who have given this examination multiple of times, like before taking this session also, I had a word with many students who have been giving these examinations multiple of times. They have qualified also multiple of times. They qualified for their LS, now they are trying for JRF. So thanks to them actually, I got many suggestions from them, sir, this happens and that happens. So I thought that let us share their experience with you all. Most of the people, they complained, rather they said कि what really matters in giving these examinations is the time management. So whenever you are giving these examinations, I am not saying that you should be burdened, but then yes, you should keep a watch on the time. कि भाई क्या चल रहा है? नहीं तो आप चल रहे time खत्म हो गया, you will not be able to solve even half of the questions. It is not done and neither it is worth. So you really need to what you call as see that where and how can you curb the time. So that's what I was actually about to say, that when you are reading a question, you have the answer in your mind, right? You have an answer. Like some simple example, if they have talked about, like if they talk what happens to the value of Km and Vmax in a typical uncompetitive inhibition. Now you have one thing in your mind, yes, both of them will decrease, but then still you're not very sure. So now you have some answer in your mind. Let that answer come in your mind first and then read the options. I am not saying that you do not read the options and do not read the options to their entirety. This would be the what you call as worst thing which you will be doing. Sometimes what happens is that we are so obsessed with our answers that I just see it at the first place and it is like A and I see K I go together and do it. But नीचे भी कुछ options थे, बाद में A और B दोनों भी था. But I never read it. I thought I am so sure about my answer. Some of the times you get similar questions, exactly what you must have saw when you might be practicing. If you are like in our test series or in some other test series, or if you have learned it from somewhere, if you have read in some book, you see the exactly same questions, but then probably the answers might have been varied. Don't be overconfident about that you have read it. So be there, be present there, read the question to the entirety. Many of the times some people don't read the question to the entirety. They will just like have an overview. अरे ये मुझे पता है, अरे ऑनिमेशन, अरे मुझे पता है, अरे लाइक ऑटोन ये तो मुझे पता है, ये तुमको पता है, हमको भी पता है, तुमको पता है. But then read it. Read the question to the entirety. Read that question completely. Do not miss out any word at all. Read the question to its entirety. Once you have read the question, form the answer in your mind. If you know, obviously. If you don't know, then you'll have to look at the options. But many of the times when you go to a market or to a supermarket and you don't know what to buy, you are totally confused. But when you are targeted, yes, you are carrying a list. मुझे साबुन खरीदना है, मुझे शैम्पू खरीदना है, मुझे फूड ग्रेन्स खरीदने हैं, मुझे लाइक सैनिटाइजर खरीदना है, मुझे मास्क खरीदना है. When I know, I can go in that particular section. But when I don't know anything, probably then I am lost totally. So when you read a particular question, first tell to your mind, ask yourself that whether you really know something about it. If you know it, either jot it down if you have a rough paper or keep it in your mind, then read the options. And if you find your option there, circle it. Like, or you can just remember it. Nowadays in online, in offline, you can just take it like now. इसमें हमें बात करनी है. But read other options also and then come to the final conclusion. So this is will rather reduce the time. Because what happens is most of the times you go there and then you come back and then you read the options and then you are totally messed up and you also forget what was the answer. Because when you read the question, some things, जिसने पढ़ा है उसके लिए बोल रहा हूँ, मतलब they start coming into your mind. So like let that finish first before you read the options, because these options most of the time they will look similar and the confusion will increase. So once you know the answer there, once I know the answer here, let me keep the answer here with me. Yes, I am now damn sure that yes, both K and degrees. Okay, I know this. This is the information which I have. I jotted it down. Yes, the first option. Now let me read the others. And if nothing matches now I can go with E. So this is one thing which you can do, right? So when you read the option, read the options after what you call as you have one answer fixed in your mind, number one. Number two, I tell you, as I told you, read the question to its entirety. When you are reading the question to its entirety, somehow, I don't know how, but I always tell the students that yes, please pay attention to the words like none, not, false, true. Sometimes they will say which of the following statements is not correct. And you read only correct, then you come out of the examination hall and then say, अरे मैंने तो not पढ़ा ही नहीं, तो तुम्हारा भी set होगा क्या? The answer will be not. You are getting my point. So you have to be very careful. Therefore I have told now, मतलब test anxiety पे एक lecture लेना जरूरी है. वो हम लेंगे अभी some other live session में suggest. But then still you should be what you call as present there. मतलब whether there is a not there, which of the following statements is not a false. Sometimes they will ask you like that. But you read only false, you do not read the not. Sometimes which of the following statement is not incorrect. This is some other way of asking the question. So sometimes you miss out that not somehow, I don't know how. So I suggest you all, please read the question properly to the entirety and pay special attention to these words like not, false, false, true, not. Select the statements, like sometimes you have multiple statements, so try to do that. Try to eliminate that is wrong. So sometimes what happens is, say for example, you are given a particular statement, and in this particular statement they are given you like option, like 4 other statements, and now the option says, like the first option, it says that A and B. The second one, it says C and D. The third one, it says A and C, and the fourth one, it says A and B. Now I am supposed to select out of these. Now, when I read this, I am damn sure that this C does not match. C does not match. So immediately let me rule out this. Don't read. Don't read A again with the combination of C when you are very sure that C is not an answer. So that will reduce the time. Now what you have to do, you are given 50-50 option like yourself. So no one is giving you any what you call as lifelines there, no public poll there, no phone a friend there, नहीं तो मुझे ही phone करेंगे. So yeah, मुझे या किसी और को probably. So there is no phone a friend, there is no public poll, there is no expert opinion, there is no 50-50 option. But then still you can give the options to yourself. Once you are sure that C नहीं है, तो go with these two and now find out like which is the one, right? So that will reduce half of your time. Sometimes you have like options like when you have these four statements, like you have A only, B only, C only, then you have all of these, and now out of this what happened is you are very sure that A is right. You are also very sure that B is right. You have not heard about C at all. Now you are in confusion. Obviously, in this case, the option is going to be all of these provided that you are very sure about these two. So, talking about these particular options, like all of these or none of these. So, here also you have to focus. Sometimes you may not know. मतलब none of these में अगर आपको एक भी ऐसा option थोड़ा भी correct लगता है, तो obviously none of these is not the option. इसमें आपको चार में से दो लग रहे हैं पर तीसरा नहीं समझ में आ रहा है. Don't start thinking about that. Don't start thinking. You just start thinking about that. The C one, how I missed it out, or I would have read now what to do. But are you very sure about A and B? That is the question you are supposed to ask there yourself, not about the C, because you have never read C and you don't know C and you never saw C and go and sit on the C store. So here A and B, as I told you, if you are very damn sure, 200% आपको sure A और B go to all of these. मेरा guarantee ले लो, you will get that, right? So read every option, read every question, right? Answer as you know. Many of the times what happens is when you are reading these particular questions, you start and come to a conclusion कि मैंने 5 क्वेश्चन पढ़े, 10 क्वेश्चन पढ़े, मुझे ये नहीं आ रहा, मुझे वो नहीं आ रहा. You keep on skipping, ये भी नहीं आ रहा, and you keep on bothering. Probably the first 10 you don't know, remaining 90 all of you know. I remember one of the students who was giving the examination. He couldn't answer the first 5-7 and immediately left the examination hall and came out. And when the paper were out, that was an offline kind of examination, he regretted so much because he knew all the others. Probably if he would have given the examination, he would have taught all others who gave the examination, they qualified somehow or the other, some of them, not all of them. So don't lose hope. बोलते हैं ना जैसे उम्मीद पे दुनिया कायम है. So we all are living in some hope. So don't lose hope. आपको जो नहीं आ रहा है, just keep it. Like you can keep it for review later, or you can just skip it. Or review वाला option, I am very doubtful how much you are going to use that option for review. You don't have that much time to go and review back again and like test whether that answer was correct or not. So I other personally suggest that उसका जो भी मामला है ना वही खत्म करो. सिंपल रूल क्या है कि अगर मैंने तो ऐसे भी बहुत लोग देखे, मतलब I saw many such people where there was no negative marking at all and they had to attempt say 75 questions, they attempted only 65. The worst thing which you must have did in your life. आपको कोई नेगेटिव मार्किंग नहीं है, आपका कोई नुकसान नहीं होने वाला है, तो why the hell you are worried? I don't know. So just go with it if there is no negative marking. And yes, if there is a negative marking, you really need to think about it, which most of the exams they have. So before going with the wrong option, there are two types of guesses which we say, an educated guess and an uneducated guess. So if you have 10 questions where in 5 you can make educated guess and in 5 you can make an uneducated guess so anyone can make. Sometimes I give the papers to people and they solve their MCQs and I always select in the class 2-3 people whom I don't give the question paper. तो उनको हम क्वेश्चन पेपर ही नहीं देता हूँ और वो ऐसे ही छोड़ा दे ABCD something whatever they want, and then I see that they also get 10 marks out of 40. So if these people after reading the question also get 10 marks out of 40, that probably you got it by chance. So not like that, but then still what I would like to suggest is कि yes, you are supposed to what you call as be very keen and knowing whether there is a negative marking or not. So before choosing a wrong, नहीं तो आपके 10 सही है और अगर 20 गलत है तो सब कुछ पानी में. So therefore you really need to know that whether there is a negative marking, and I am again and again repeating, if the examination where you are giving and there is no negative marking, please attempt at least all of them. वो 10 में से कम 4-5 तो आपको मिल जाएंगे. So keep what you call as educated guesses, right? So as I told, the more information which you will have, that will probably help you more in solving these particular MCQs. Basically, what I'll say is ki start studying early. Matlab, if you are say in second year or your third year, you just start studying right now. In Marathi there is a saying ki तान लागल्यावर विहीर खाणे मतलब when you start digging a well when you are thirsty, so don't do that. मतलब right from today you decide, yes, I'll do this and I'll make my own notes. Have you ever in your life made your own notes? मतलब I guess some of you must have, but then if not, then take some time and like make your own notes. Don't try to copy what others are doing, right? I remember मतलब I personally मतलब this is like making notes का concept I actually learned from my friends, from my colleagues, from my students who really did very well after making their own notes. So from that onwards, I started including this particular section, because personally when I used to study, I used to get so engrossed in that I used to forget that I really read somewhere, and I was in one particular session and people were asking me how many hours you used to study, and I said I don't remember. I hardly studied. I used to study only half an hour or 1 hour or so, and people were, oh my god, then how you qualified? And then I had one of my friends who just pinged me and he was telling me, sir, Girish, he calls me Girish, is my friend. So he told me, Girish, तू उधर बैठता था और टिश्यू कल्चर की लैब में जाके 5-5 घंटे बैठता था, लाइब्रेरी से 10-10 बुक लेके आता था. So you are so engrossed in studying that I really couldn't recall. And then you started, हाँ यार मैंने तो लिया था. So that should happen. Otherwise, so what happens is कि you keep on checking. मैंने तो भी 1 घंटा पढ़ाई की, मैंने तो भी 2 घंटा पढ़ाई की. जितनी देर वो टाइम लगा के आप पढ़ेंगे ना, तो आप डाउटफुल कि आप कितना क्वालिफाई हो जाएंगे, राइट? मतलब rather keep all your distractions aside. That is also one of the things. मतलब otherwise, if something pops up, तो your Insta pops up, your WhatsApp pops up, or something comes up there, and then you are busy chatting there. I am studying, telling to 100 people that you are studying, putting on the status you are studying. Then they are sending some emojis, and then what the hell is going on? And then they come out of the room and they say that I studied for 2 hours. What the hell, right? So don't do like that. Distraction आप करके देखो. आज करके देखो. आज आप जब पढ़ने को जाएंगे ना, तो take your mobile and like switch it off. है ना? देखो आप मतलब I know it is very difficult, especially in your age, but वो 1-2 special person जो आपके होंगे, उनको आप बता दो कि आप पढ़ने वाले, तो if they are very near and dear one to you, तो they will understand. You just switch it off, keep it in a cupboard and then sit for studying. करके देखो. Simple. मैंने इसलिए बोला ना, the today's tips are not for like only related to life science or molecular biology or something like that, but it is about say the methodology of study. We have so much of distraction. I never had a mobile that time. I had one that button wala I had, but then no one used to call me. So what you can do is like you are so famous on all those things. You are not me. So people are like मर रहे हैं आपसे लोग बात करने के लिए. तो आप उनको स्विच ऑफ, उनको मत स्विच ऑफ करो, मोबाइल को स्विच ऑफ करो, रख दो और बाद में पढ़ने का देखो. जहाँ पे आप पढ़ रहे वो एरिया कैसे देखो. मतलब it should be a bit clean. इधर सब गंदगी पड़ी है वहाँ पे, it's not clean, and like कैसे आपका मन लगेगा? At least should be clean. आपके जो notes है वो थोड़े arrange करके रखो, section 1, section 2, section 3, section को arrange करके रखो. Give the time to them and like go for it then, right? So some people, as I told, everyone has their own strategies. What personally I believe, I really cannot talk more than 40 minutes or so. I just cannot study for more than 35 minutes or so. But that's fine. Some people, they can sit at a stretch for 2-3 hours. उनके इसको सलाम, मतलब उनकी वो मेहनत को I just cannot. So you can take a short break. But remember, the break should be short. The study should not be short. Some people study for 15 minutes and take a big break of 40 minutes. So I'm not talking like that. You study for 40 minutes, 35 minutes, 1 hour, whatever is your like span, and you take a break for 5-10 minutes and then again get back to the work. So that can also help. मतलब नहीं क्या, मुझे तो बार-बार भूख भी लगती है. So like if I'm studying and if I'm taking your session now, I'll have to go and have a cup of tea. Otherwise, it's not possible, right? So put away all your distractions. Like keep a timer. Keep on solving more and more question papers. So these are some basic tips which I would give. Now there are many other tips which are to be given when you are actually in the examination hall. But yes, today again that is not a thing. तीन चार बातें जो मैंने आपको बताई आज की समरी, if we summarize, तो समरी भी if you summarize our today's talk, so if you summarize our today's talk, it is like start preparing early, right? MCQs are not that easy. Yes, they are not difficult. Also, we all will like together come out with flying colors. Try to understand the concepts, right? Try to make our own notes. Keep the study area clean. Try to have some timetable. It depends. I just bola. Some people have a timetable. I never had a timetable, but I studied so much that I never had to make a timetable. Like you don't have to make a timetable to scroll your WhatsApp and Facebook and Insta. So जब तक आपका पढ़ाई उस कैटेगरी में नहीं आता, where you don't have to make a timetable, probably it is going to work. But if it is not working, मतलब then you will have to make a timetable. I always say it, like studies is not love which will just happen. You will have to make it happen sometimes, not sometimes, most of the time. So go back, study. Few simple steps, practice more, right? Keep a watch of the time. Those who have just started, you may just forget about all these. मतलब जिनका अभी शुरुआत है ना, they may just focus on the content, increment of their knowledge, right? Application of their knowledge. This is what you can focus on. Those who are the beginners. But those who have been like preparing from so many years or 1 or 2 years or given 1 or 2 attempts, you try to focus on how to actually go about. You try to like put a stopwatch and try to solve, try to see which topics you have not covered. Those who are the beginners, तो उनको तो पहले से plan out करना पड़ेगा. मुझे ये भी करना है, मुझे वो भी करना है, मुझे ये भी करना है. तो पढ़ो, आपको क्या पढ़ना है? मतलब some people they keep on asking like which reference books I should go about, or what is the material, where will I get this study material. Like when we also started this series, people were like, we will be providing, you have already so much of material, आप और material लेके क्या करेंगे? वो material करेंगे इसलिए. There is so much of, you have already, you have so many e-books with you all, right? I would rather suggest get a printout of that, some good books. You can text me personally, I'll tell you which good books. Some good books can really help. You can take a printout. With everything online, like it becomes very difficult sometimes to your screen time also is very difficult. So you can what you call as get some hard copies of your reference books. I would suggest those who are preparing for all these competitive examinations, most of them you see, all entrance examinations, they have aptitude in that. So please, if you want 1 or 2 set of questions on aptitude, please let me know in the comment box. I will also provide you in the series which we are conducting. So yes, you have to go for aptitude, which is scholarships exams के लिए used to some solve some related to mathematics and all, some general aptitude. Don't skip that. Go for basics. आपका जो 11th 12th में आपने जो पढ़ा था ना, botany, zoology, on this channel also you will get so much of content which is related to that. So go for that. Go for studying the basic books. आपका 10th 11th 12th मैं भी सजेस्ट करूँगा. आप जो भी पढ़ रहे हैं ना, आप एक बार आपका कोई भाई बहन रिलेटिव रिश्तेदार आजू बाजू वाला अगर कोई 10th या 12th में ना उसकी बुक ला के देखो, उसमें इतनी सारी चीजें जो आपने अभी BSc MSc में पढ़ी, इतना सिलेबस हैज बीन अपग्रेडेड. उनके बुक्स पढ़ो, उसमें बहुत सारा बेसिक्स मिलेगा. उसमें गलतियां मत ढूंढो अभी. आपको जितना चाहिए उतना आप ले लो. But then please, I strongly recommend that you read those books, and that will really help you in your like say part B of your NET especially. So read the basics, read the basic chemistry there, read the basic biology there. So that will really help you. For part A, you can go for aptitude and general scholarships kind of books which are there for 8, 9, 10, 11 standards, right? And for the C part though, there are so many books which you can go about. This is what general I had to discuss about life sciences. If you have some specific questions, yes, you can comment in the comment box and I'll come back to you. So with this actually I am done. So today we will not have that what you call as test. Go home and do 2-3 things which I told you to do. At least get down the syllabus, read the syllabus. Many people have never even read the syllabus to the entirety. आपने starting से लेके end तक syllabus पढ़ा कर नहीं, God only knows. But मैंने आपको बोला ना, these things also will not matter because probably if you are well versed, life science में तो इतना सारा है, आप कोई भी बड़ी सी एक अच्छी सी well known reference book ले लो, उसका सब कुछ आपके syllabus में है. तो it all depends. मतलब अगर आप इतना पढ़ रहे हैं ना, then you may not be bothered about syllabus. but अगर आप नहीं पढ़ रहे हैं, तो that time probably you will have to at least go with the syllabus. So this is what it is in a crux. So yes, stay tuned with us. We'll be having more of funs. You can also let me know what specifically would you like to have on this channel also and in our tests also. So thank you. If you have anything, you can mention in the comment box. I can answer right now. Okay, so I think we are done with it. So you don't have any what call as suggestions or inputs or questions. So with this, let us end this session. Thank you for joining and share with your friends so that they'll also learn more. Thank you so much. Bye bye. Thank you, Neha. Thank you. It was my pleasure. Thank you, Anupriya. Thank you, Datta. Thank you, Tanvi. And all the best to you all. Bye bye.